So yesterday I've been thinking about whether we still can hide ourselves behind, I don't know, pseudo-spiritual beliefs, I guess, like that we are just shortly before an awakening while the whole world seems to be completely on fire. And I actually wrote a little thing that I then didn't dare to post on Facebook, but I kind of really can understand, like I have a part, always have had a part that just wants to disappear into fantasy world and just doesn't want to deal with the reality because it kind of seems to suck largely, apart from some exceptions. And I think when you are a little bit more of a sensitive person and news and things hit you very deeply, like they do for me, it's very easy to say or go into extremes. I think I've been doing that in the past years, and very, very hard for me to find a balance. I just can't watch news with all these awful pictures, for example, and it just gets too much for me. But I also at the same time realized that I don't like not knowing what's going on, and to find a way to stay open towards what's actually happening in the world while not getting sucked into a rabbit hole and into anxiety mode, thinking we are all fucked. Maybe we are, but it's not helpful. And it's kind of finding this balance, kind of finding resources that are trustworthy when it comes to news, and maybe that report in a way that it's not too over activating when you're a little bit more sensitive. But I also, it's kind of two extremes. You either can, just not do anything else and take all that stuff in and be completely depressed, or you just don't look at it at all and you kind of a little bit like with the magical fairies, just saying, oh yeah, we are on the verge of awakening. And I guess in the past, I think I probably have been definitely guilty of running away with my magical parts. It would be just too nice if it was true. And thanks to, for example, Lisa Rankin, who at the moment is very active again and calling out people like Deepak Chopra and stuff like this. I did her spiritual bypassing course. It was in the middle of the pandemic, and that was a real eye-opener for me and totally necessary. I started to see things so much more critically, and which doesn't mean that you have to throw out the baby with the bathwater, but I don't know, denial can go in so many ways. And when I look at myself in the past years, like I've been, it started with a spiritual bypassing course, and I've been ripping I would not call it awakening at all, but it was like maybe waking up to the truth more and more, like I've been ripping the bandages off. After the spiritual bypassing thing, I found Dr. Ramani healing from narcissism, and so it was coming out of denial in personal relationships in my own life, where I didn't really or wasn't able. Sometimes we aren't able to just face the truth yet. So I want to say that too. I have a lot of compassion for being in denial because it serves a purpose. Sometimes we are just not ready to face up to the truth yet, and it takes time. We need to find the right sources and resources that help us, and if I look at myself, I think it's kind of the more I was able to look at, willing to look at how things really were in my own personal environment, and then also being able to be with things more and feel things more, and kind of doing a different work to spiritual bypassing, I guess, where you just want to feel, like you're flying away with the fairies, like doing the work with a therapist, doing all that years of doing the journal prompts with Dr. Ramani, and doing a lot of stuff that kind of, and working with the nervous system and whatnot. But kind of, I think, really believe we need to cultivate a willingness to look the truth in the eyes. And that can be so incredibly painful and so incredibly unsettling. For me, it's been so unsettling, and I so much anger also came up for me, and I still have a lot of anger. It's a tough path to really face up to what's going on and to uncover our own blind spots where we don't want to see things, to stay safe and to not having to go into the discomfort. I think it's a tough path. In a way, it's easier to stay, I guess, on cloud number 9, yes? But still, I personally believe that at the same time, the liberation, the liberation of where we aren't ruled by our own trauma anymore, and where we kind of, it won't go away, but where we kind of have incorporated it and see things more clearly. I think that only can happen if we are willing and able to open our eyes and to come out of denial. And I think this is on a personal level, but also on a world stage level, like opening the eyes to what's happening, and not just posting the latest picture of our latest ice cream we had, like this is very unsettling times, and it is kind of just, I don't know, exasperating that the world seems to be run by some power-hungry, crazy men, and who gets there first to destroy everything. I don't know, but I firmly have the feeling right now that maybe the real awakening is everyone daring to come out of denial and look things in the eye and face up to it, and to see what we can do personally, even if it starts with calling out people in our own environment when somebody gets treated unjustly, to just stand up for those people. I don't know, but I think we can't afford anymore to just numb out or just to withdraw into fantasy world. I think fantasy world can be a great place to how do you say to to nourish yourself and to bring some maybe ideas back into reality, but you can't just stay in fantasy world. You kind of need to build a bridge, isn't it? Like between the rejuvenating yourself in fantasy world, but then coming back into reality and try to make an impact. So how are you dealing with these crazy times? Are you trying to stay informed. How are you doing this? Are you dealing with your own anxiety so that you kind of allow yourself to be informed but also not go like this? I'd love to hear. This was Anya. Take good care. Bye-bye.